Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. I'm Trevor Stockwell, and on this episode we're going to be talking about how to expand your business reach, amongst other things. I'm excited to be able to discuss this with my guest Justin Breen. Now, Justin's the founder and CEO of BrEpic Communications, which is a premium PR company, and the global connectivity platform BrEpic Network, exclusively for visionaries and exceptional businesses. He's also the author of the #1 international best-selling book, Epic Business, 30 Secrets to Build Your Business Exponentially and Give You the Freedom to Live the Life You Want. Now that sounds good. We're not going to dig into all 30, but we're definitely going to dig into some of those. And it's going to be a really good discussion. So make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you take some notes. Thanks for joining us, Justin Breen.
Trevor, I'm really excited to talk to you. You're an excellent interviewer. I was a journalist for 20 years, and so I know when someone actually knows what they're doing. And then your interview with Casey Gray, listeners, audience wants to go back to that one. Casey Gray with you, man, that was just a tremendous. I think Casey and I were separated at birth from listening to that, and that was just a great job by you.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks very much. And for everyone listening, I didn't ask him to say any of that. That was a nice surprise. So thanks, Justin. Casey's a good guy. It was a good conversation.
Yeah.
So maybe just for those that haven't yet met yourself, share a little bit about your journey, your background. It's kind of 20 years or so in media, but how have you got to sort of where you are today?
Yeah, so I'm a dad who happens to be an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur who happens to be a dad. So I would never let entrepreneur life destroy my family life. I talk to at least one person a week. Most of my days talking to the top entrepreneurs on the planet. So I talk to at least one of them a week that has let entrepreneur life destroy their family life or prevented them from having a family. So I'm just a dad, and a husband who happens to be an entrepreneur. So, I was just born with a story, and I have a brain that simplifies complexities and then immediately connects top visionary entrepreneur to other top visionary entrepreneur. I don't know why my brain works like that, but that's what it does.
Okay. So I guess the burning question is, how do you find a visionary entrepreneur?
Yeah, so you're either born someone like me or you're not. I strongly feel that. If you could say, hey, you can make as much money as you want to, partner with other top folks in the world, do what you like to do and what you're good at, see your family and friends as much as you want to, I think most people would say, okay, sign me up for that. But then you're like, well, there's a couple caveats there. You're almost certainly going to have to go through one of the following four things, most likely two or three, and then I talk to a lot about fours. And most folks are like, I'm not going to do that. So the four things are bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy, 2, depression, 3, the highest level of anxiety you can imagine, and 4, likely and or possible traumatic experiences as a child or young adult. So what separates people like me from everyone else is people like me are like, figure it out, and everyone else uses those as excuses their whole life. So that's entrepreneur life. That is what separates entrepreneurs from 99.9% of the world's population.
Yeah. It's risk tolerance a lot of the time, isn't it? What are we actually willing to put on the line in case it does go pear-shaped, it doesn't work out as we imagine? What are we going to do? How are we going to respond? So,
right. That's entrepreneur life. So, I have zero business background. I don't know what an S corp is. I still don't know what that is. I didn't know when I started this you had to pay taxes, and I'm in the U.S. I didn't know you had to do that 4 times a year. So I started my entrepreneurial journey 5 years ago after my job salary as a journalist was cut in half. I couldn't find a job. Incorporated. That was April 16, 2017. I incorporated. And so over the next 6 weeks, reached out to 5,000 people to find first 5 clients. So rejected 4,995 times for 5 clients. So, and then got 5th client, resigned the next day. And then Robert Feeder, he's the top media columnist in the Midwest, did a story. I'd started my own firm. So that was just to get the company started. So that's entrepreneur life. I mean, that's what it is.
So how many of us would actually make 5,000 attempts?
0.1%. Yeah. So that's what it comes down to. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing because, I don't have data behind that other than most of my day is talking to the world's top entrepreneurs, and the overwhelming majority of society has no idea what I'm talking about. And what you just said, how many people would do that? They just stop. They just stop at the start. They never even get started. And it's interesting because 5 out of 5,000, that's 0.1%. And then the folks I partner with now, it's a different 0.1%, but it's the same number. It's 0.1%. And the 0.1%, the only reason I partner with them is because they're the only ones that are going to actually do anything and take action and make the investment. And those are the ones that change the world. So I can change the world by partnering with people who will actually change the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say from the PR perspective then? Because you're very good at that, as well as connecting people and focusing on certain specifics. From the PR perspective, what is it that you see a lot of business owners kind of, some of the mistakes that they make? Is it literally branding? Is it more the language that they use? Is it just the approach of where they're kind of marketing or putting themselves out? It's quite a broad question, but just from your perspective, with the people that you deal with.
Well, there's a lot of meat there, and then I decode things and immediately provide an answer. I mean, again, that's just how my brain works. So I partner with entrepreneurs, not business owners, and there's a fundamental difference. So business owners care about revenue, employee count, office space, and just material stuff, and they're trying to change their world. They're asking the same questions and never actually taking action. And then entrepreneurs, the folks I partner with, they care about purpose, spending time with family, real global connectivity, and they're changing the world. So a true entrepreneur would never make the business owner type of mistake. They would never try to do this themselves. They would never do that. They would just outsource it and to find the best person to do it for them. So there's one fundamental difference there. Two, I was a journalist for 20 years and created my entire business model, first company, based on how PR firms annoyed me for 20 years. So I actually don't know what PR firms do other than annoy journalists. I was just annoyed hundreds of times a day receiving useless press releases from people I don't know. So that's a problem. So my firm created a solution, solved it, successful global company. I mean, it's the same formula that I hear. I hear it, from these visionaries. They see a problem, create solution, problem solved, successful global company. They were annoyed by something, saw an opportunity, created it. They actually did it, made an investment, took action, and then so successful global company. And then they say the same thing to me. They're tired of being the best secret. They want to be in more news, more media. It's usually at a global level, but sometimes it's national, regional. And then my brain hears blah, 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 immediately simplified into a 400-word, 500-word story that media cares about, and then immediate intro, immediate connection, immediate media opportunities. So it just solves the problem. It's the same formula. I just did it in the, I guess, what you would call the PR space.
Just from a different approach, really.
Right. It's the same formula. You see a problem, create solution, you create it, you actually solve it, and then successful company. So that's why I just partner with the 0.1%, because they'll create it and actually take action to do something about it. Yeah.
Sounds really good. I like one of the phrases that you say about people don't care about what you do. They care about who you are.
Right. So these press releases that annoy you, when I say you, that annoy journalists hundreds of times a day, all they talk about is what somebody does, and no one cares. So the story that my firm does is they write about who the person is with a little bit of blending about what they do. And then, 20 years as a journalist, become an expert, if you want to call it that, in that space, create real connections. And then, media's like, thank you for sending me this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it's been an interesting thing, too, is that I didn't expect this, but it's happened, is I've kind of become one of those types of visionaries. I mean, I have two companies now, just finished the manuscript for second book, and Peter Diamandis, he's one of the top entrepreneurs in the world, has written the foreword. I'm very grateful for that, but it's actually like I've used myself as a litmus test for the people that I serve, for the people that my firms serve. And it's really interesting to become one of those people, because I didn't necessarily expect that to happen.
Yeah. So would you say, I think for people that are listening as well, and thinking, okay, now that I've been listening to Justin, maybe I'm actually focused too much on building a business and not trying to change the world, but trying to change my world. What would you say would be some of the things that would help people shift? I mean, I guess there's some people are more naturally wired for a higher risk tolerance. They have a higher risk tolerance.
Correct.
They're more likely to risk things. Some people are not, and maybe their vision is not global but more regional. And there's a space for everybody. But what would you say would be some of the things? I'm guessing a lot of the time it's fear that would hold people back from really stepping out and trying something because of maybe they're going to lose things.
I mean, so that's what I mean. The people I talk to would never, that's what I mean. That's what separates, because the overwhelming majority of society just makes excuses their whole life. They don't, and so I can't help those people because they're not helping themselves. I mean, that's the whole point. And I have a very simple litmus test. It's very simple. So I have a wonderful wife and 2 awesome sons. They're 7 and 9. So if I talk to someone, and I know it right away, because when you talk to enough amazing people, you know when someone doesn't fit the bill. So if someone's going to waste my time and take time away from me and my family, I'll just never talk to that person again. And if someone will not waste my time, will make an investment and add value to my life, and I can add value to them, lifetime relationship, because they just allow me to spend more time with my family. So most people, to dovetail your point in question, they're afraid to do that. They're afraid to be that direct. Me, nope, because I know I want to be a dad who happens to be an entrepreneur. That is it. All this other stuff does not make any sense to me, especially when you talk to people who have literally let this life destroy their family life or prevented them from having a family because they're winning the wrong game. They care about these things that they think will make them happy, but then they realize maybe too late or never realize it at all that it actually doesn't. And I'm just not that person. I'm just not.
Yeah. Okay. So when did you actually get to the point? Like, was the BrEpic Network, was that almost like a natural follow-on from starting the PR company? Did it happen at the same time?
So that's a great question. I'm going to grab. So this is how my brain works. I'm very low in ideation on strength finders, Gallup strength finders, and I'm very low in futuristic. Okay, very low. But if I have a good idea or someone gives it to me, my top 3 are activate, maximize, achieve. So result. Okay, so the foreword for my first book was written by Chris Voss. He wrote Never Split the Difference. That's one of the top business books in the last 20 years. I'm very grateful for that. Okay, so in the foreword, and this came out in May of 2020. It was written in late 2019. So in the foreword, this is Chris Voss. So, like the success of the Black Swan Group, that's his company, where I used my years of expertise as a negotiator to build a business that created a groundbreaking model that helps businesses and brands everywhere. BrEpic is doing the same thing with its approach to public relations and building real relationships with a global network. The name for my second company was literally in the foreword for this book. And now here we are. The new company is just technology for my brain. It's just a high price point, invite only connectivity platform. And then I'm in Chicago. My partner, who's also in a group called Strategic Coach 10X with me, he's in San Francisco. I've met him one time in person. And he was at our launch party. We had a launch party in Chicago. And then the person whose company built the platform, he's based in Toronto. Also has only met him one time, and he's also in Strategic Coach 10X. So that's all it is just an extension and evolution of what I'm already doing through the PR company with just technology. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. I like one of the chapters in your book, your clients become your friends and your friends become your clients.
Right.
So at what point do you end up blurring the edges between the two, in a sense? Because there is the danger that you can get too familiar with somebody that
Nope. So there's no blurring. People either no. So like I would say Mark Fujiwara is my partner in San Francisco. There's no blurring there. I mean, we either you either understand the mindset or you don't. And we understand each other very fully, even though we've only met in person one time. And okay, the byproduct of that is a partnership. I would say all of my best friends, with the exception of my wife, who's not an entrepreneur, thank God, she's pediatrician, human, but all of them are parents who would never let entrepreneur life destroy their family life. They're top performing entrepreneurs that put family first. That's all of and many of them are partners too. So no, there's no blurring. I mean, no, there's no blurring. It's like, and all my new company is just people that understand that and want to join that and be a part of that connectivity in that community.
Yeah, so you've aligned based on values and ideals rather than what you think might work just from a purely financial perspective.
Well, no, because that's a business owner. That's what I mean. That business owners care about revenue, and they're looking at that's what I mean. They're looking at costs. And so if you have the right mindset, it attracts the right network and creates the right opportunities. I haven't done anything outbound or gimmicks or any of that stuff in years. My mindset just attracts the top people who understand it. They want to collaborate. They don't want to compete on anything. And then here we go. I mean, that's why I'm so excited about the new company. It's 1,000x of what I'm already doing. I mean, it's basically like, first company's great for media connections and opportunities like these. The new company's anything. Hey, I need an 8-figure deal with something. I need to get an intro to a Hollywood producer. I mean, so it's just this in the PR aspect for any vertical, anything.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully the people listening are thinking, yeah, I know where Justin's coming from. I understand it. A lot of them will be nodding. Some of them hopefully will feel challenged. It's good to sort of have our mindset.
That's the whole point. So that's a great point. So like people like Casey Gray, and he'll be like, oh man, where has this person been my whole life? Because I was listening to him. I'm like, oh man, I got to connect with him immediately because he totally understands.
Yeah.
And then the interesting thing, what you said is that, so people like me are usually aliens within their own family, community, and vertical. Nobody understands us except top entrepreneurs on the planet. So you're surrounded by financial questions, and you're like, well, what's wrong with me? Well, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just not surrounding myself with the right people. Yeah. So you listen to something like this, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to ask what do you cost or charge. I don't want to be nickel and dime my whole life. I actually want to be a part of this. And so you just make the investment. So it's a challenge to yourself, but really it's like, oh, I'm not, there are other people out there that think like me, and I'm very grateful for that. That, I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was when I started this. I had no idea. I took 0 business classes in college. I went to school to be a journalist, so I didn't even know this world existed. And I was just never meant for a corporate world. I was always this person. I just didn't know it until job salary was cut in half and couldn't find a job. So I'm very grateful that happened. And then I just kept making bigger investments to be in smaller rooms, and in those rooms, bigger impacts. So I'm in 2 25K a year US dollar groups annually, and I'd easily invest 50K a year in those groups each, because it eliminates the what do you cost or charge folks. It eliminates business owners, and it just attracts true global visionary entrepreneurs. Yeah. So yeah, bigger investment, smaller room, bigger impact allows me to have biggest investment in smallest room, which is my family, where I can have the most impact. So it's the same formula, just apply to myself and my community.
Absolutely. No, that makes a lot of sense. So what would, for people listening from the PR perspective, and they want to get sort of BrEpic involved from that, what would there's like 4-step process, isn't there, with working with you guys? Just not in a huge amount of detail, just for time, but what would the 4 steps look like for people that were kind of thinking about it?
Yeah, so at the highest level, there is no competition, only collaboration. So the company's entire process is on the website. I mean, anyone could easily take that, my firm writes actual newsworthy stories, similar to what I did as a journalist. It becomes a link on the client's website under news or blog. So it looked like a story you'd see in the New York Times. Send my firm that link immediately, pitch it to media, and then it's immediate intro, and then the client does the interviews from there. So this solves the problem.
Okay, no, that's nice and straightforward. Good. That means I get to dig in and ask you a question. But one of the other chapters in your book, learn from tough times, from bad clients, and deals that have gone wrong. You shared a little bit about how you kind of adjusted and made changes when your salary was cut in half. You became an entrepreneur. What would you say would be, I guess, some of the learning points within that? You've touched on the fact that you've realised that you are differently wired to a lot of people, and that's fine. You've connected with other people that have the same vision, the same kind of level of risk, the same approach about value and family. Any other sort of learning points for people listening as well that you want to share that can help us?
Yeah, so thank you. I'm reading this great book called Hero on a Mission by Donald Miller. It's a really good book, Hero on a Mission. So Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, that's the ultimate. I can't imagine anything past what Viktor Frankl overcame in his life. So if you haven't read Man's Search for Meaning, that's number one. This is like a modern day version of that, and I don't say it lightly. So in this book, Hero on a Mission, Donald Miller has a 3-step formula for a life of meaning. 3 steps. Okay, so here we go. So 1, take action creating a work or performing a deed. 2, experience something or encounter someone that you find captivating and that pulls you out of yourself. This would be an example of that. 3, this is where most people stop, but entrepreneurs like me go full forward. So 3, have an optimistic attitude toward the inevitable challenges and suffering you will experience in life. That is what life is. Life is challenges and suffering, and most people create situations to avoid those at all costs. Entrepreneurs like me, embrace it, full throttle. Embrace the challenges, embrace the suffering, because that's the only way you'll find meaning and find greatness in life.
Yeah, wise words there. So whilst you're going and navigating through the challenges, you're still focused on the end result, where you want to get to.
So that's a good point. I'm actually more focused on the journey that will get to the end result, because I don't know what the end result is without going through the process. Now, here's the dovetail to that. Now, I do think this is a great exercise. Again, Hero on a Mission. One of the exercises that the book recommends is writing your own eulogy. And at first I was like, that's kind of weird. But then I really thought about it. One of the groups I'm in, Strategic Coach, the first exercise they do is a lifetime extender, how many years you want to live. And so I want to live to 123, which gets me to the next century. And then I'm like, well, if I want to live to 123, what does that mean? So I'm like, I wrote the eulogy, and I'll tell you, it's been a tremendous exercise, because I read it every day. And then it's like a litmus test of like what I need to do today, what I want to do today to make sure that the life I'm living was worthwhile, that it matches up with the message in the eulogy. So I do think that is a really good exercise. And it's an example of getting over the fear for sure. And then you just do it, and then you look at it every day, and you can evolve it as needed. But I really do recommend doing that.
Yeah. It's a good exercise, because there are times in life, in business, whatever, where we have experiences where we feel stuck, or where things just doesn't make sense. There seems to be like a gap, a pause, the unknown or confusing times. And having something like that, it's almost like your North Star, isn't it? That you keep focusing on and working towards, to help you then emotionally navigate through the times of the unknown, but also draw people around you that can help support,
right,
kind of comfort.
Well, yeah, your LinkedIn video talks about, if there's the lid on someone, you can help them get through the lid. That's great. I mean, that's wonderful. I'm so I'll just push through it. And I think genetically, my father was 61 when I was born. My mom was 27. My father would be 106 if he was alive. And, my litmus test is, he was a war hero in World War II and Korea. He was shot down 9 times in combat, and many times didn't have a parachute, survived that. So that's kind of my litmus test. Like, well, if he's going to get into a plane without a parachute, I can do this. So it's good. That's a good reminder of that.
Yeah. Another thing you touch on with regards to kind of navigating through the process, but is also having patience in business, because relationships take time. It's like planting seeds, isn't it?
Yeah, that's number one. So I'm really glad you asked that, because for me, that's the hardest thing, because I am full activator. And the biggest challenge, and what has led to suffering, which I'm glad that has been waiting. Because as a journalist, I would write 2 to 3 stories on deadline every day for 20 years. So it was boom, 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 deadline. And I love that. This world is not like that. I originally had a discussion with a visionary. He's actually in Spain. And last year he messaged me. He's like, "Oh, I have this new company coming out," and I told him, the investment rates for my company. He's like, "Well, I don't have that now, but I'll reach out when I do." And so he messaged me today. It's been a year and a month. I hadn't heard from him in a year and a month. It's like, okay, I'm ready to partner up. So that happens quite a bit. It's just a total different world than journalism world. It's just a much slower world.
Yeah. It's like control the things you can control, and the rest, there's an element of faith to it, trusting in the unknown, trusting in the things you can't kind of.
It's getting in a plane without a parachute. I mean, that's the same. It's the same thing.
Absolutely.
Maybe not the same thing, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's really good. All of this is really useful, really helpful. It's inspiring as well, because it can shake us out of complacency. It can get us encouraged with regards to, actually, yeah, I can do this. I am meant for more. I do want to sort of pursue certain things bigger than what I'm aiming for at the moment. Lots of different ways people can take this, which is good. Just in the last sort of closing minutes or so, anything else that we haven't touched on yet which you want to share? There's lots in the book. It'd be great to chat a lot more about the book, but just anything at the moment. Do you want to share a little bit about your new book coming out, or what's involved with that, or anything that's in the current book?
Thank you. One, I can't wait to see your Colby score. I'm guessing 8754. I'm 8671. We'll see about that. I've gotten pretty good at guessing it. But to have someone like Peter Diamandis, I mean, he's one of the top entrepreneurs in the world. I mean, he leads a group called Abundance 360, and I'm in that. And then he's also in Strategic Coach. And so for him to write the foreword for my new book, which is called Epic Life, and that'll come out in a couple months. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years. So because I'm Activate, Maximize, Achieve, and I'll get into the plane without a parachute, that's what happens. I mean, that's what happens. But chapter 1 of the new book is The Cream Rises to the Top. So my dad died when I was 13. So from age 5, when I kind of had a memory, to age 13, every day he'd say, "The cream rises to the top, the cream rises to the top." So I just partner with the cream that rises to the top, or the folks that will do whatever it takes, won't make excuses.
Absolutely. No, that's really good. In lots of ways, that's a really good phrase to finish our discussion for today. Hopefully we can chat again. It'd be really good to dig into more topics within the book, and when the new book is out as well. Any particular time that's due out yet? Is it still? Do we have a date for it?
So Scribe Media, Tucker Max, they're a very, very top publishing company in global. They're publishing it. I'm very grateful for that. The manuscript's approved. If people want to laugh listening to this, I wrote the entire manuscript in 16 days. It's very easy for me. I can't hold a pencil right, but I can write a book. And so the manuscript's approved, the title's approved, and then we're going over the cover design now. So I'm guessing July, August, maybe September it'll be out. I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And for those that want to get the copy of Epic Business, that's available sort of anywhere, everywhere, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, international bestseller in the UK, man. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I can quite understand that. So if anybody that wants to touch base, literally head to the website, find out more from this discussion. What sort of what services are available, the process, the 4-step process in a bit
One
more
service, and there's one service, yeah. So less is more, and it's for one type of person. So you're either that type of, and there's nothing to sell. Like you either understand this or you don't, and that's fine. That's fine, because the people that do understand it, they understand it, and then they introduce me to more people that do. But I'll mention the company's website for one reason. So it's BrEpicLLC.com, BrEpicLLC.com, and the reason why is there's a mindset scorecard, a survey on there. And it takes 5 minutes. It's through the Strategic Coach platform. People love taking it, and people they qualify or disqualify themselves with their own mindset. And if they're challenging themselves, they'll take it and be like, well, this is what I need to work on. Or more than likely, if it's an intro from someone who knows me, they've already mastered that and they're ready to take action. But it's a great litmus test for those taking it as well.
Okay, no, that sounds really good. Thank you for your wisdom, Justin. I do appreciate your insights and everything that you've shared today. The conversations always go fast, but that's a good thing, I suppose, isn't it? No, it's brilliant. And for everybody listening as well, lots of different things we've touched on. You might feel a little bit bruised just from some of the things we've shared. You might be really excited. We're all different. We have different approaches to life, what we want to achieve. But maybe could you actually raise your game from where you are, what you're aiming for at the moment? Is there actually a higher risk that you could take in a way that's calculated, if that's how you calculate stuff? Or do you jump in the plane without a parachute? Are you that kind of person? Whichever and however you're wired, it's not wrong, but you need to grow and find what works for you. Find the way that you can learn and develop and express who you are. And there's lots just within our conversation today that can really help, hopefully encourage you, hopefully challenge you as well. If we're never challenged, we never grow. If we don't grow, we don't stay as we are, because life moves on. We end up regressing, and we don't want to do that. We're here to help change the world for other people. So have a think. Be honest with yourself. By all means, ping us an email. Share your aha moments, share your struggles, whatever it is. We like feedback as well. Ping us an email. Tell us how this episode has helped you. Definitely check out Justin's website. There will be a link below as well. Take that test just to see where you are from a mindset perspective as well. And we will let you to take action in the way that seems right to you, something that's resonated with you today. Always encourage you to make sure you take action of some sort. Otherwise, there's no point listening to it.
Useless, pointless conversations. Yeah.
But it's brilliant. We love conversations like this because it does get us challenged. So thanks again, Justin. Appreciate your time. Look forward to chatting with you again at some point. For everybody listening, definitely get a hold of the book as well. Be challenged some more. There's some great stuff in there as well. And tune into the next episode as well. But thanks for joining us today. That's everything for now. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yeukai.businessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.